Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing good. Well, I have a lot to share in a short amount of time, so I'm just gonna skip the whole introduction that I normally do. We're just gonna jump right into it. So if you have not already done so, you've got to go back and watch my last video where I'm talking about getting unstuck. I share why and how I ended up with this topic, and just to kind of catch you up a little bit. I always tell my students in class, I'm not re-lecturing, I'm recapping. So if they miss class, they don't get the pleasure of, taking notes. If they missed it, then they just get a quick recap so I can get everybody. So I'm doing a quick recap. And I discovered that I'm stuck, that I've been stuck in certain places in my life, certain spaces is probably a better way to say it. And when you are stuck in an area, it keeps you from moving forward into the next space that you should be in, hopefully a positive space. It's kind of like, I'll use the analogy of when people have wounds from old relationships. We see that a lot. If you don't deal with those wounds, they're going to bleed into the next relationship you have, right? And so you have to find a way. That happens so often. I'm not immune from that. But many of us, it has happened, right? And so it's hard to sit with yourself and to acknowledge your, maybe what you did, what the other person did, and to say, okay, and, go through all the uncomfortable feelings that come with that. Because again, if you don't, it will bleed into the next relationship. And so you end up kind of stuck in this space of that, whether it was good, whether it was bad, whatever the case is, and it keeps you from moving on to what God has for you. And that's not where I want to be. So I had like this aha moment, really. It's spiritually, just God kept and keeps revealing that to me, that Favor, Professor Campbell, he calls me Favor, but that you're stuck in this space, right? So I've been working on that. But as I'm in it, I'm like, this is not something just for me. This is something I'm sure other people deal with as well. So I said I would do a part 2. So today is part 2 on how to get unstuck. Now, every person's situation is different. Where the space that people are stuck is going to be different. But I think this acronym, because y'all know I love a good acronym, is something that you can apply no matter what area of your life that you are stuck in. Okay, so I've used this acronym in a different setting, different audience, and I think I changed up the words, but I think it's a good word for what we're talking about. And that word and the acronym is ACT. You have to act, right? If you want to make changes, you have to do it now. But there's some caveats in that. So making the decision that, I don't want to be stuck anymore. I'm going to actually do something about it. You're acting on it, right? And so this acronym will kind of help you, and each letter stands for something. So let's start with the A. In order to get unstuck, you have to first acknowledge that you're stuck, right? If you don't take time to sit with yourself, and I'll be honest, this is not something that somebody else can do for you. You have to do it for yourself. I had to come to the realization, for me, and I know what works for me doesn't work for everybody else, but spiritually, I had to pray. I had to read my Bible. I had to listen to God. I had to quiet myself so I could hear him. And not that I went into it looking to say, God, I feel like I'm stuck. No, he showed that to me because I kept getting that word over and over again. And then from there, I was like, let me read up, pray up, and all this sort of stuff in order to get myself to where he wants me to be. But once he revealed that to me, I had to acknowledge, Favor, you're stuck in this space. And in order to move forward, and you have a lot of change coming about in the upcoming year, you got to acknowledge, I'm actually stuck in this space. And I don't want to stay stuck in this space because I want to be able to get the blessings that God has for me in all aspects of my life. So that's the first thing. You have to act by acknowledging, okay? The C, and acknowledge. You have to commit to changing. And there's 2 C's in there, so it works both ways. But you have to commit to saying, okay, now that I acknowledge that I'm stuck in this space, whether it's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, professionally, now that I acknowledge, I'm stuck, now you got to commit to making the change, right? And again, this is stuff that nobody else can do for you. You have to do it for yourself, right? Committing to something can be hard, right? Because now you got to find a way to manage that in everyday life, right? What does that look like for you? For me, I can only use myself as an example, but I've committed to digging deeper spiritually, to really allowing God to guide me, which I've pretty much been there, but almost next level. Because I have so many big changes coming up, I really can't do this by myself or without him. And so I've committed to that. Is it always easy? No. Do I get it right every day? Absolutely not. But I've committed to that. I've committed to changing so I can get myself unstuck. The T in ACT. First, you have to acknowledge, then you have to commit to change. Then guess what? You actually need to take it slow. So there's always like two sides of the argument when it comes to how you rip a Band-Aid off, right? Some people are like, rip it off and just, it's like a half a second of pain, just rip it off. It depends on how big the Band-Aid or the bandage is, right? So I can see on both sides, some people are like, you kind of peel it slow and then that, like if I had a Band-Aid here and I'm like peeling it off. So I'm not going to use a Band-Aid. I'm going to use, I don't know if any of you know of or used KT tape. KT tape is like you can put it on your leg, you can put it on any part of your body. And I was wearing it on my leg because apparently that was helping the knee issues that I was having. And so that KT tape sticks to you like glue. And when it comes off, it's like usually after you shower, it starts to unravel, but there's always a big strip of it that won't come off. I am in the slow category. I'm like, let me go slow. Let me, rip, go off the corners and roll it up a little bit. And, because if you try to rip off that long strip of KT tape, I don't even want to know what that pain feels like. I think getting unstuck, it's kind of like, it's easy. It's easy to get yourself stuck, right? Nobody plans on getting stuck. It's hard to get yourself unstuck. So guess what? You got to allow yourself a little bit of grace when it comes to getting unstuck. It's not going to happen overnight. That's the conclusion that I came to. It is not going to happen overnight. I know where I'm stuck. I'm going to work daily to make sure that I keep moving forward, but I'm going to have setbacks sometimes, and that is okay. All right. And so the T, take it slow, give yourself grace. And that's all wrapped up in there. Okay. Hopefully that KT analogy will come to you too and help you out through this. So that is it for this kind of segment on getting unstuck. I hope that helps somebody. Being stuck is not a fun place, no matter what space of your life that you are stuck in. The goal is to get on the other side of that, because I almost can guarantee you that on the other side, I do guarantee you that on the other side of that are so many amazing blessings that God has for each and every one of us. So I always say, if this video is not for you, maybe it's for somebody else. Share it, pass it along, subscribe, all the stuff I'm supposed to say at the beginning of the video. So hope you all have a wonderful week or weekend, and I will see y'all on the next video.